Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about electrical muscle stimulation, EMS. So before that, I wanted to tell everyone I am not a doctor and I am not a chemist. I do not encourage the use of any substances, legal or illegal, and this video is strictly for educational and entertainment purposes only. So electrical muscle stimulation is typically the process of putting, electrodes on an area like a muscle, and the electric current allows the muscle to contract. I've used electrical muscle stimulation in the past. Apparently it's different than TENS units, but I believe they both can give natural endorphin rushes that help for people to have pain relief when they are struggling from being like bedbound and such. So what have I noticed for using electrical muscle stimulation without anything else for 2 weeks straight? Because that's what I wanted to try and do, and I wanted to see what would happen if I just used EMS and I did not exercise. I didn't do anything else besides walking and eating a normal diet. What I noticed is that it retained my muscle. So I have been cutting, I've been losing weight, and I noticed that it did a very effective job at just retaining my muscle. This technically goes against what the literature says. It says that it can be used for people who have injuries, but overall it's not good enough to help with muscle growth or muscle retention. So therefore it is not useful to use unless you're actively working out while using the electrical muscle stimulation at the same time, or using it as a recovery method. Because there is the concept of using electrical muscle stimulators while you're exercising, and I've heard that before. And it's actually kind of like a big fad in New York, or at least it was, where you could wear these really expensive suits and you can get a full body workout in like 20 minutes just because it fires the whole body, and you just do some basic movements and it feels like you're lifting a ton of weight. But overall, what did I notice? I noticed basically muscle retention. My arms stayed the same size. My shoulders stayed the same size. Chest, back. I did it on pretty much every muscle. I did it on my legs and my calves. If anything, my calves might have grown a little bit, but I'm not entirely sure. My girlfriend kept noticing how she would put it, how big or toned my arms were. She was saying they might even be bigger. I personally don't see it. I think I've been losing fat mass, and so maybe they look more toned, but overall I think they've actually been contracting the muscles enough to keep them around, essentially. So there's also the controversial fact of, does this burn fat? It doesn't burn fat on its own. I don't know really where that claim came from, but I think it has a grain of truth, just like most things like that in the fitness industry do, which is electrical muscle stimulators do burn calories because they are activating muscles, and muscles require energy to be able to be moved. So when you are activating the muscle to stimulate itself and activate and contract, you are burning calories. You can get sweaty when you use these machines because it's still a contraction and your body's still going to heat up using it. Now, it won't burn fat. The electricity does nothing as far as fat mass is concerned. You might burn a little bit more calories, but overall, unless you have a diet that is, you're burning more calories than you you're burning more calories than you intake, it doesn't mean anything. It just means you're contracting muscles. That's all it essentially means. The literature shows that people who use it, who are weight trained and such, have no benefit from using electrical muscle stimulation. I don't see it. I think that honestly it's a good idea to use both. I got one that comes with a sort of Velcro, so that I can put it on in multiple places, and I didn't have to get the sticky pads that you have to replace constantly. And it uses water so that it kind of like rehydrates the pads all the time. And I actually really like it. Like I said, I used it for about a 2-week period without exercising at all. I think that the best results would probably be seen from exercising on top of using it. I definitely can see how people want to get results from it, because the main one that they have are like the ab stimulators, And those ones are, I don't know. Most people don't want to grow their midsection or keep it the same size. And unless you're eating at a calorie deficit and you put that on, and unless you have a very deficient, waistline, you're actually going to be making your waist bigger because you're exercising the muscle more. I mean, I guess technically you could tone the area just by making the muscles bigger in that regard, and then while you lose weight, you just, your muscles pop out, which I think is the idea of people using it. But overall, people seem to have this notion that they can put this thing on in their stomach and it will burn fat and build muscle, when all it is doing is contracting muscle. Everything else is dependent upon your nutrient intake, and obviously there's so many other factors like hormonal balance and such. But overall, it mainly depends on how much food are you taking in, how much food are you getting out, and overall, the results will come from that versus the electrical muscle stimulation. Now, you do need muscle stimulation to grow muscles. And so the question is, do you really need active mind stimulation, or can you use these electric muscle stimulations which act as a synthetic nervous system? I don't know. Or a synthetic central nervous system, I should say. And frankly, like I said, I think I saw some pretty decent muscle holding results, I should say. I know that they've used it for a lot of patients in the past who've had injuries and who have been bedbound to keep blood flow going, and to also help with the fact that muscle mass can be reduced dramatically when people get hurt. So overall, if anybody has any anecdotes, I'd love to hear them. I mean, the other issue is a lot of people just buy like one thing. So they'll buy like just the waist trainer. Sorry, not waist trainer, the waist EMS unit. And that's it. And that's all they'll use it for. And then they go, why is my gut getting bigger? And maybe they're eating the same amount of food, but now they're building muscle in the area. So it's just muscle growing underneath of fat. And then there's visceral fat underneath. And so it would just naturally grow more, which to me just seems logical, but I guess it doesn't to a lot of people. So like I said, I want to hear what people have to say about this. I encourage discussion. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like this video if you liked it. Comment down below, like I just said previously. And until next time, keep those shoulders back and down, and don't just have a good one, have a great one.